Hello everyone, I'm going to go into the Create a Design and select the A4 document setting inside of Canva. What this is going to do is going to create a paper size that's similar to 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to resize the frame of my view at the bottom so that I can see the document size I'm working with. And I'm going to go over to the elements on the left side, and I'm going to add a rectangle. I'm going to add a rectangle, and I'm going to resize this rectangle with the corners to make some multiple rectangles that are going to be used to hold my text of a newsletter. So you can see I'm pulling on the corners, I'm moving these rectangles where I really want to put it, and finding a size that I think will fit to the dimensions of the text boxes that I want to have. Now there are some templates within Canva that you can use, but I actually like creating things from scratch. So you could always feel free to use this idea or look at some of the available templates. So I'm going to take this rectangle, and now I'm going to go up and select to duplicate the rectangle. And I'm going to do that multiple times. And now I'm going to move the rectangles so that they are equally spaced, so I can start to get an idea for how many I'm going to be able to fit and what my text boxes are going to look like. And if you notice in Canva that as you move the boxes, it also shows you the difference in distance between the boxes so that you can properly format the size of items that you are adding to the document. So now I'm resizing these rectangles down because I realized maybe I made them a little too large, and now I'm going to try to make them more consistent. And what you're going to notice is that Canva actually allows you to notice how different in size they are once it realizes that you're trying to make a similar sized rectangle or other shape. You can see that with the little pink numbers that are popping up. Go in and add now under elements an image that's going to be used as an image to block out where we're going to have images on the left side of these. So I've chosen a stock image that's available in Canva, a square image because I'm going to use square images along the left side of my rectangles here. And I'm duplicating that image just to get a better understanding of the spacing, because I'm going to be able to add images that take the places of those images on the left side. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some text. I'm going to choose the add a heading text at the top here, and I'm going to move that up to the top, and I'm going to format this text. I'm going to look at different font styles here on the left side, choose something that I think works. I'm also going to be able to adjust the size of that text up at the top with the font size. As long as it's selected, I can also default left, center the text, but I like to actually move the text with the move tool once it's selected. If it's longer text, you can also format it to fit. I've decided to default it left to those images that are on the left side and have similar margins. I now added the subtitle text, which I'm going to put with my header, which I'm going to put some subtitle text with a date of this newsletter. You'll see there's bold, italicized, all sorts of options for formatting text. And now I have a header text, a subheading, images, and areas for writing content. I'm now going to go in and add some other images to take the place of the images that I placed as my placeholders. As you can see, you can pull them over, and what they do is they plop right into the squares that you added images into, unless they go into the background, which you see they kind of take the place of the background for a moment. So just be careful that you're not adding them as a background image. I will show you in just a moment how to edit the background if you are interested in doing something different in the background. But what you see now is I am selecting the image and the text box together to be able to move these two elements together. So Moving the elements together is a very helpful part of Canva in keeping your design together. And now that I have these 4 text boxes, I have the option of using the shape, and I'm actually going to make an area at the very top of this newsletter design that I can add like a key kind of area for a main message of the newsletter. I just want to make sure that as I add this area that I'm making sure that it fits within the design that I currently have, and that if I add any elements, they match the other ones that I have going on, or if it's different, there's a specific reason why it's different. So I changed the background color. I'm now selecting that text at the top and formatting it. And I'm fine-tuning the details around the text box that I added because it was a later addition to this design. I'm now going to use the text tool again and use the add a little bit of body text to add some body text to these elements. So I have some dummy text so that when I'm ready to add the actual text to this file, I'm really just copying and pasting and formatting. And then I've already kind of determined how the text will be formatted, what the font style will be, and how much will fit within a specific box. And if you notice, it's very easy to type within a text box and resize the text to fit the text box, which is a great benefit of using Canva, that you don't have to really work with the text too much to fit a very specific space. You have a lot of options of sizing the text down, or changing a font style, or moving the text up, or even changing a different, place where you start the text, or defaulting it left, right, or in the middle. So you have a lot of options for defining how the size of text fits spaces. I'm making this text white so that I can kind of see it as I'm formatting it and adding it to my elements. I'm now copying this text and pasting it within my other elements so that I can have an idea of how much text I can fit within each box, and then also what the background color needs to be, and also what some of the padding might need to be between the outside of the rectangle and the text, and also how much space I have to write. It also gives me an idea of how the text will look with the images that I've chosen. And if I want to get rid of something, it's very easy, but now I have a basic outline where I could literally copy and paste text into this newsletter in Canva. I have images formatted, they're aligned. And I'm now adding a footer at the bottom. This can be a space for your name, an email, a simple message, something to kind of bring attention and let people know that that's the end of the document. I'm just now resizing some of the header text to kind of fit what I think will look best. You always can move it around, see how it feels. Make some text larger if you wanted that text to be larger and draw more attention. Now that you have all the elements that you may want to add to your design. This is a chance to test the colors against each other, look at what font colors look better, what might be more stylized. Here I'm going to now duplicate an image so that I have a spot to put an image in to my top box next to my main content. I've also added from the elements a frame, a gold frame, and I'm now resizing that frame around that picture inside the box to draw some extra additional attention. But you'll notice that it does take me some finagling, some moving of that frame around the picture to have things centered. But once it is selected and I feel like it's centered, I can select them together and move them together. once you have it just right, you will know it. It'll show you. And I feel like I got that right where I wanted it. Now I can literally select all of those elements together and move them if I want to. I'm going to make this box a little wider so things fit, and it kind of aligns with those pictures that go down below it a little bit more as well. And also make sure that the text that I'm going to enter at the top has plenty of space. So here I can take advantage of, now that I have a lot of my elements in place, maybe adding some more space for some more text, but not compromising the images that I've had. Now, if I am going to make any massive changes to the images, I can do them all together. Now I'm going to use within the elements this triangle design that you'll see, the blue and yellow triangle design. I'm resizing these images down, making sure they're all the same size. And I'm going to add a little accent to each one of these images that's the same triangle design on the corner. And it's just, Canva has a lot of little elements that it's up to you to kind of utilize in the way that you think you could best utilize them. I'm going to draw that, bring that down, and format up in the corner of the picture. And what you'll see is I'm going to now format that for each picture. Now that I've added that element to each picture, I'm now going to make sure the elements all line up the way I want them to line up. And as you can see in Canva gives you these pink indicators, which allow you to understand how far certain items are from each other. But also the eye is a great tool too. If it looks right, you know, it's up to you, but you can always use these little tools to kind of make sure everything's lined up the way you want. This is also causing me to look a little bit more at my text now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to select my rectangles. Show you how you can change the background. So right now, the background of my newsletter, because I've selected the background, I can then select any one of these colors that will either match the design, it will look for colors within the design, and it will adjust the background. I'm going to end up keeping mine white just so that it's consistent. I think I can draw more attention in some other ways, but if you want a colored background and maybe you're not printing in color or it's going to be black and white, ultimately you may want to just design it black and white with the end in mind. But if you are printing something in color and color is not either an expense issue or what you want, then you can do that. If you notice here, I've just selected the rectangles and now I'm adding a border. And you see, select a rectangle and then up at the top you have this border option. I'm going with a heavy border of 4 for each one of these, just to add a dark, thick border around each one. Add some extra attention to those rectangles. And I'm going to look at some different fonts now. Now that I've looked at the design and I want to try to see what might work better, I'm selecting specific items that I might want to adjust, or adjust the size of, adjust the fit of the elements. Now that everything is laid out, it's much easier to see what's going to work a little bit better. If there's something I need to center better, if I want something lined up more, here is a chance to kind of do that, to resize things, because you can select the elements either individually or as a group and move them the way you want to move them. that's a great benefit to anyone who is trying to do something from scratch, is just to know what the capabilities are. So I've added this little bar that I'm highlighting. I grabbed that from the elements as well, and I'm making this little blue bar that I'm going to use to separate the text boxes, not all the way through, but through most of this. And once you have the size you like, you can actually duplicate it and have it be the exact same size all the way through. So I'm actually going to use that size, that smaller size. I'm going to bring it down, and I didn't want it at the top, so what I decided to do is just put it in between the rectangles that are below. I'm making sure it's centered. Now I'm going to duplicate it and just keep dropping a version down. I think I'm only going to put 3 in just to spice it up. And now I have that tiny element between my text that kind of keeps a continuum, but kind of keeps it all together. So essentially now I'm just updating and editing my footer at the bottom, and my design is almost ready to go. I'm just checking some of the alignment here on the left side with the images that I added. Looking pretty good. I'm making sure things are lined up, that they are lined up the way I want them to be. They look good. Everything's tight. And essentially I'm almost done with my draft of my newsletter. Have this ability to edit each element, so if there's something that you want to change, you can do it. I'm now selecting pairs of elements, and I'm moving those individually to make sure that they are lined up the way I like. And now I'm essentially ready to basically go in, add my own text from another document that I've created, paste it in here, and then download and print or download and share or make the document a link. I'm just moving a couple images in the final stages. Nothing has to be the way it was. And now I think we're ready to give it a sample download just to see what it's going to look like. So let's go to share. And then I'm going to select actually a JPEG version. So I'm going to go from the PNG. I'm going to max out the size so I can see pretty much the highest quality. And I'm going to choose JPEG. I could also choose PDF, which might be helpful for a newsletter, but I'm going to stick with JPEG and download that. Let's take a look. Here it is, you'll see it downloads. And here is the JPEG view of the newsletter. There it is, ready for printing, ready for proofing, ready to take a look, and then go back into Canva and add some text. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hope this helps you get your newsletter off the ground if you wanted to do it from scratch in Canva. A lot of tools available here. I've had a great time making these newsletters or making projects in Canva and looking at the high resolution of the graphics. I appreciate the time you spent with